Who did this?
Bitcoin
Knack
in
is
DC.
back, baby. Knack is back. There's a statue outside the White House. Trump's holding a Bitcoin. Reprice your targets, guys. Reprice
He's holding
your
a
targets.
Bitcoin. You're not bullish enough.
Wait, now we need the equivalent for Ethereum.
No.
Who should we have holding Ethereum?
We should have
Vitalik.
Lord Lee. No, let Lord Lee be there in all gold, holding a big ETH coin.
Lord Lee's a spiritual presence, not a physical presence.
We need Chevy holding a degen chain coin.
Yeah.
Take that any day.
Yeah.
I got my Idaho shirt on.
Whoa.
Like
bad.
that?
There we go.
There
We
you
like
go.
that.
When we went shopping, Coop and I went on a shopping spree.
Oh yeah.
Because United Airlines lost my luggage ahead of the meet and greet. So forever memory. What's up, Knack? How we doing? Welcome
Doing
back.
good. Welcome back, brother.
Whew. Wow. Kicked off the episode right with a statue of Trump holding Bitcoin. That's a bullish signal, no?
Damn right.
Ansem's bearish though. Ansem's still bearish out there.
He said good cycle.
He said good cycle, and then what did he say? He said something today. He was like, all the top signals are in or something.
I agree. I've been saying that in our chat. There's some top signals that I've been seeing for sure.
I just like the streamers making a bunch of money. I think it's like a good NFT analog that feels like the euphoria that I think we've been waiting for a little bit here, you know?
Definitely energy for this week. Yeah, but are those considered top signals? No, these are just people having fun online and on chain.
I think they're like middle signals, like they're middle getting to the top signals, you know? I think like top was like 2021, you make like $1 million in 5 minutes on a pre-sale. And I think now we're in like you stream and you make 50 grand.
Which top signal was it for you? The middle signal? Was it the lamp guys? Was it the person eating his own shit? Or was it the people jumping and lighting themselves on fire? Was it the grandma on stream rugging people? Which one was the signal for you?
None of the above.
None of the above. Okay.
Was it the golden statue of the President of the United States outside the White House?
Nope.
Shame. Because those are all really good signals.
They're really good buy signals.
I think it might have been Coop simping in chat. Might have been the top signal for me.
Whoa, guys. Yeah. What happens in the text stays in the text. All right, come on. Let's not go bringing that on the podcast here.
Let's unfold that one. What's going on your end of the spectrum?
What's going on, Coop?
I will not be addressing these allegations on the podcast. This is blasphemy, defamation, and I will not be talking about it.
That's how you know it's a top signal. That's how you know it's a top signal.
I am getting ready, however, for my own Koopa Troopa streaming arc coming soon, TM, to a platform near you. But we got the new setup here. Kooprex logo, Midnight Diner, pop up tomorrow. We got the CDJs right here. I'm going to be streaming probably by the end of this month, I reckon. And we're starting to ramp up, boys. It's short form content season. It's live stream season. It's short form content season. We got to get some more content out there. Clip-in season. You guys know what it is. I don't have to tell you.
Did you get that from Temu?
From Temu? No.
Temu.
No. Temu.
Where'd you get the neon sign from?
I don't know actually. CC on my team got it, but I think it looks pretty good.
God bless CC. If it wasn't for her.
CC.
The amount of times I've heard her name, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
God bless CC.
God bless.
Coop, what controversial things are you going to do live streaming to get the token to pump? Come on.
I'm not going to do anything controversial, I hope.
But are you going to be releasing a token with your live stream?
No, let's just say that I already have a token on a platform that's starting to explore live streaming. And they may or may not have hinted at them starting to get into live streaming. I may or may not have said I'd be willing to be one of the first streamers on the platform. So let's see what happens. I'm giving them like a 2 to 3 week grace period. And if streaming's not live by then I could be taking my talents over to PumpFun to stream. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
How do we feel about this meta?
I like it a lot, personally.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
I like it specifically because of all of the new people that I think are starting to like do crypto things for the first time. And I'm not saying they're having like all positive experiences, but I think I'm seeing a lot of just like new faces, like launching a stream and then being like, oh, I'm quitting my job, or like going live, or just like people that I think haven't really come out of the trenches for a while, or come out of like the past era of crypto and touched it in a while. And so when I go and I stream the live streams page on PumpFun, it just looks like a lot of like net new faces, which feels positive to me as like a general signal.
I also feel like as a general signal that a lot of them are like college aged, like the Bagwork boys. It's like people in college finding out about crypto, seeing an opportunity, trying to make something happen. Even I don't think we've had that kind of energy at any point in the last year where it's like truly someone who's like 17, 18, 19 getting into something. I think it's very different than like someone being that age and like slinging meme coins around because it's just more they're active, they're on an app, making content, asking the stream if they're bullish or not.
The funny thing is, like, I feel like a lot of the critique of it has to do with like the volatility and the extremity of the streams. And I think the only person to blame for that is the literal people buying the tokens, which is like the existing crypto people. And so I guess that's kind of why I kind of feel like good about it is that all of the really crazy shit that's happening is happening from the already existing people that are crazy that are like currently here. And if you look at even the volatility of a coin going from like 1 mil to 30 mil or something like that, it's like crypto's historically done this thing where it just speed runs like anything remotely interesting to like the highest maximum value and then just dumps it 90%. And so I kind of like that we're getting that out of the way a little bit. And it almost feels like the economics are a little bit more in favor of the creator now. We're like, let's say your coin does pump to 20 mil. You don't have to sell the top on your token. You're still going to make 100 grand, 200 grand in fees. And I'm just looking at the volume on some of these like smaller mid-tier creators and they're making 40, 50K in creator fees off the first like 72 hours of them streaming. And, obviously I don't think that that's sustainable forever, but I do think it kind of gives the belief and hope that if I just stay consistent and stream on this thing every day, that I can actually start to make like a real living. And I think that's the narrative that, the base house guys have been preaching for a while is like, if you're going to jump on Kick or Twitch, it's going to take you forever to even get like 10 subscribers versus if you jump on PumpFun, you can make like 10 grand in your first month of streaming. And I think it's a really good analog. I'm here for it.
I think for the first time we're seeing content token fit, where you have a certain content format match the behavioral characteristics of the token format in question. I don't think we've seen a content format match nicely and pair nicely with such token format. Like live streaming and meme coins feels like a match made in heaven, frankly. And I think for the four of us each experimenting on how to monetize content on this new internet, seeing this play out has been quite insightful to think that maybe it's not a one size fits all model for all forms of content. Each content format has its own respective medium for monetizing on chain. And goes back to the conversation that we had with Jacob from Zora when we were talking about, is the patronage model the right way to monetize content? Is the coins model the right way? And maybe it's not a one size fits all. So I love this. I think this has been really, really insightful to see. And I think it's bringing out a new class of creators on chain that we haven't seen quite yet.
Yeah, I think what gives me like a lot of or like interest around this is that there's just a healthy enough amount of pushback. Like it's not completely like everyone's just like, oh, this is the future. Like there's definitely some pushback on the timeline right now. And I think more specifically what I think is funny is that it's the exact same pushback that like Zora got with coining content of like, oh, you're just pushing speculate, or like a lot of the stuff that we've talked about here is like it's just speculation, pushing the our creators have to rely on speculation in order to monetize. They're gonna just dump the coins at the end of the day. So I just think it's funny that like PumpFun and like the Solana community is just running back the same kind of narrative that like Zora dealt with 6 months ago. And yeah, it's kind of already in the past now on the Zora front, but it is interesting to just see that play out on the pump side.
But Cooper, to your question, you're about to start streaming. You have your coin on said platforms. And if we found content token fit, you need a high degree of attention on your stream to drive a high degree of attention to your token. So if you're not doing really highly engaged things to attract and deter attention into your corner of the internet, then how would that translate consistently into volume? Yeah, for a matter of respect, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I just think that I'm hitting a ceiling on Zora of just like posting consistently on the platform. Like I'm posting short form reels, I'm posting recaps and whatnot, and I want to do more with the coin. I just don't know what that looks like. I think that like a stream offers a good vehicle to just consistently drive attention back to it. And if you look at the biggest streamers like XQC, or you go to like Lacey's stream or Ronaldo or something like that, sure, they have these days when they go out and they do like a subathon or they do something crazy, but for the most part, they're just chatting. They just jump on a screen and they're just in the chat for 5 hours talking to people in the chat, exploring whatever topics are hot to them. So for me, I just think it's really plausible to just be able to go live, play some music, chat to some people that are in the stream, listen to new demos that are coming out, and just like do stuff that feels natural in my day to day, and at least have a vehicle where someone does hop on and like look for something to do. It feels differentiated in a way that feels good to me. So, I mean, that's even just like the foundation of it. I think then you can start to get into layers around like clipping and being able to distribute that way and start to bring some of those back on the platform. And yeah, I just think beyond even the crypto side of things, the frequency of posting is like the most important thing that I've seen amongst all creators, just across like artistry in general, TikTok, Instagram, etc. And I think that there's a bit of fatigue on like, how do I actually get enough content to be able to consistently start posting? And so I think having a stream as the foundation for that consistent content, I think that's why you see like someone like Thread Guy doing so well, is that he's just posting clips 3-5 times a day from all these great guests. And it's just like a really good way to kind of keep the ball rolling in a very positive way.
No, I was just gonna say I think it's funny that Thread Guy hasn't launched his like PumpFun stream yet.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
was
would
thinking about
expect
that
him to
too.
be like on the forefront of this, but he's still pretty hesitant about it.
Well, he's been very vocal about his on the pump token, and he just likes to preach this narrative of like buy the casino. And so I think that for him, he understands that the upside may be higher in his own coin, but the risk of him doing it as a high profile crypto person is actually very high as well. And so if he just has a massive bag of PumpFun token, that's actually probably better from him than trying to, you know, manage this counterparty coin or manage the Thread Guy coin, because inevitably it's going to be challenging for him to constantly live up to the expectations that people have. When he launches it and it fucking wicks to 50 mil, 100 mil, whatever it is, you're kind of constantly having to lean back into it. And I think that his bet is just like, I'm just going to long PumpFun, and it's been doing great. So I definitely respect it.
I mean, let's talk about the creator fees. What's going on over here that creators are earning so much money in a given time? I guess this is playing into effect of Pump's new creator fee format, where creators capture more of the value in the initial phase of the market cap before it hits a certain breakthrough moment. Am I understanding that correctly?
I think that that's the underlying economic change that happened here, is that there are higher creator fees. I think that the main driver is that PumpFun has historically always done this much volume. It's just gone into the deployers of these coins who are not public figures. And so if you are a dev or someone that's launching a meme coin, you're making a shit ton of trading fees. You're probably just not posting about it because the orientation didn't make sense for you as like the founder of a meme coin to go, oh, we just made 100 grand in trading fees. Like you're just going to say, now our coin went to 1 mil, 5 mil, whatever. I think now that those creator fees are going directly to individuals and people who are able to sort of post about it a little bit more prolifically, I think it has like a stronger feedback loop. I actually don't think that the creator fees are going to be like in average more than like a really successful meme coin launch originally was on PumpFun, but I just think that each dollar is going further because it's going to people who, when they make 5 grand, 10 grand, that's super meaningful to them. And that's probably not reflected the same way as like an OG dev that's maybe like chilling on a bunch of Solar ETH or something like that and doesn't really need to post about it in the same way.
Have you guys have you seen what Rasmer's doing? I think he's live right now, but he's doing kind of like a Mr. Beast type live stream right now where anyone that leaves the circle, or like the last person to like leave this circle gets all the creator fees from that stream. And I think that's a really interesting mechanism of like, as that stream continues to go on, the fees continue to pile up, and the incentive to stay in that circle or keep your hand on the car or whatever that like Mr. Beast type playbook is, just continues to increase, and that incentive increases, which is super novel and really interesting. So, you know, shout out to Rasmer right now. But yeah, it does open up like kind of new content formats as a whole.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that not everyone that's on PumpFun and streaming is doing all the crazy shit that you're referring to, Adam. And I think that they've gotten a couple iterations down where like the first iteration of PumpFun was just like a PumpFun streaming was massively insane and just had like the craziest shit. So they shut it down. They relaunched it with the coins, and then it was kind of just like not really that hyped up for whatever reason. There was only like a few streams here and there. And now it feels like it's having more of a real moment where it's like a lot more, just like you said, David, like young creators are doing it for the first time. It's their first exposure into crypto. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot to figure out with it, but it feels good. Like it's definitely giving me a lot of that like early 2021, I'm an artist in LA and I'm just going to mint an NFT to see what happens. Like that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this quote unquote meta right now. And I think it's healthy. I think people are definitely like really volatile, where one day they're like streamer coins of the future, and then the next day they're like, fuck creator capital markets. Whoever tried to show you that is like a scammer. So that's just kind of the pace of Solana and how it moves. But I think the on-chain revenue speaks for itself. And I think that the capture that Pump has of being able to put all that revenue back into their token and it being able to show in the price of the platform coin is like a really good proxy on like just the adoption of this new product and kind of what they want to do in general.
Excited to see this roll. Excited to see it. Token content fit in real time. Love to see it. But maybe with enough demand side on any token format, you could see really nice results regardless.
I just think that it's still so early in terms of the functional role that these coins play on the actual platform. I mean, I was in a chat yesterday and like right now there's no like notification when you buy a coin. There's no like different tiering that happens if you hold a certain amount of coins. There's no like private chat for specific coin holders and whatnot. And so I think that the order of operations they're going at, where they just got the flywheel open to allow new people to launch these coins, people to trade on them, feels like a good step. But I think a reason why I'm like really bullish on this over the next 6 to 12 months is like the platform's just going to get better and the app's going to get better and you're going to get a lot more rewards for like being a holder and being able to be seen in the chat. And I don't know about you guys, but like I spent a lot of time on Twitch back in the day during like COVID and stuff and when Fortnite was really hot, and it's really fun to like be in the chat and to just like mess around and kind of engage. And I think with these new reward structures that go beyond like gifting subs and whatnot, it feels intuitive to me that there's going to be a lot more benefit and opportunity, and people are going to be a lot more willing to spend money because it's crypto than they would by signing up for a $5 a month subscription on their credit card.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I haven't thought about that yet, of like volume activity can just pop up on the screen of like, oh, Koopa just bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, set a minimum threshold, or like if you're a top holder, you're getting a special badge in that chat. So yeah, I'm definitely really interested on how Pump and like other competitors start to integrate your holdings as like status within that live stream.
There was just a tweet on this. I have to see if I liked it. But basically, somebody just throwing a bunch of new ideas for what to do with top holders. No, I didn't like it. I kept scrolling, unfortunately. But yeah, this is cool. Glad to see Pump taking off.
We had some, I got a question here. Like we had some discussion about like how to play this. Are you guys buying like individual streamer coins? I think David was like just a big proponent of buying Pump. Coop, you were kind of mentioning that like Thread guys probably on that train of just like owning Pump. How have you guys thought about like playing this in terms of like trading tokens?
My heuristic here is the same way that I've been thinking about Zora, where the largest position is the actual platform coin itself. So my Pump bag is bigger than any of the individual streamer coins that I have. The streamer coins are fun as like small bets of maybe like 5-10 SOL, but going into it fully expecting that they're going to be rugged at any given moment is completely fine with me. I'm not like married to a coin where a streamer's coin goes down and I'm like, oh, I don't like this streamer anymore. It's just kind of fun to be a part of the ride. And so I'm not really going in with big size on any individual streamer, but I do think it's nice to kind of accumulate bigger streamer positions as that streamer proves that they are more consistent. I think there's a difference from like scrolling the new streams page and trying to snipe a brand new stream in the first 5 seconds it launches and then selling on that first stream. I think what I'm looking for is just like who are creators that are going live consistently over the course of a couple weeks, and then who are the creators that are on, Twitter basically saying like, hey, I'm going to try out this PumpFun stream. Here's what's going on. Or like there's some creators who have been getting backlash from their audience because they didn't really know what they were doing by streaming on PumpFun. They're like, oh, I'm going to donate some of my fees to charity or do some buybacks. And then you kind of have this like, I'm noticing that like crypto people want to buy people who just like are trying to make it work within this world, despite how like weird it is. And so I'm just sort of adding to positions that I feel like are consistent and entertaining and kind of understand how this whole new world works in some way, shape, or form.
And you know what? Historically, you've been right with taking those bets. So I'm excited to see them play out for you.
The Cooper gut. The golden gut.
My gut says that holding Pump is a good idea.
Yeah. Hold the casino.
I will say though, a funny example, it's a little bit of a tangent, but I was looking at on Zora, there was this account, Alabama Baker, I think her name is, but she's got like 2 million followers on Instagram. And she joined Zora. Her coin went up to like $1 million. And then I looked the other day and it was down to like 50K. And I was like, what's going on here? And I looked into it. And basically some of the other like bigger accounts, like one big account in specific on Zora was just like roasting her for like saying that she wasn't doing it authentically or organically or trying to copy their narrative or something. And so she like wiped her whole profile and the coin went from like $1 million down to like 50K cap. And then like I started buying it at 50K cap. So I'm like, okay, we're kind of like resetting here. But it was interesting that we're starting to see these like scare off moments, which I think is actually a healthy sign of like someone. It's fucked up to say it's healthy because I feel so bad for this chick, but like content creator with a big audience comes in, people pump it because it's a content creator with a big market cap. Same people get mad because they don't know what they're doing because they're completely new to crypto. And then there's this whole like shakeout process where like that creator feels really alienated, dust settles, and then like, okay, now I'm actually here. Like what's actually going on in this space. And I think that that's honestly like a very accurate representation of how a lot of creators join the space, is that they don't know what they're doing. They join the space, shit goes up a lot because a bunch of randos are buying it. They make a ton of money, so they're happy. Then they get the backlash for making a ton of money. And then they actually start their crypto journey, which is like, okay, I'm in it. I got a coin. I'm on this platform. I got a bunch of love. I got a bunch of hate. Now I'm back to ground zero, and let's actually start building from there. So I don't know. I just feel like in general, it's kind of like a exciting time for the market, because I feel like we're getting to this point where creators are like really getting the full throttle of how crazy crypto is. And then they're kind of entering like square one, which is like actually starting to understand this world like at its core tenets for what it is today.
Have you seen that play true also for Zora as well?
What do you mean?
Like that entire linear progression, that timeline of how things play out, or is that just on Pump?
Yeah, that last example was a creator on Zora.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah,
got it. What's next on the agenda here? Streaming is definitely the meta, but there's more going on. Amex taps into NFTs.
What did you just call it?
Amex.
Temu,
Amex?
Temu and
Amex.
Amex. What did I say wrong? Amex. Amex.
Amex.
Points.
IMX.
I am. Amex. Bro, this is ridiculous. Editor, don't cut that out. Don't cut that out.
I'm out.
Leave that in.
These guys. All right. Anybody want to take a lead? Go ahead, Lucas. You seem to have a better step.
Yeah, Amex on Degen Chain launching travel NFTs.
Ooh.
No. Amex is launching travel NFTs on, it seems like Base, which is interesting. I didn't look too much into it, but we got an Amex card. They're also, I think interestingly, why this is happening on Base is also because Coinbase, the new credit card from them, is also an Amex card. So there's definitely some canoodling going on between Amex and Coinbase here, which is interesting.
I'm supposed to get my card here soon. I'm excited. 5% back in Bitcoin. Sign me up.
That's a really good deal. That's gonna add up.
Get on
you
my
got
level,
yours?
brother.
Yeah,
brother.
When did it come in?
You guys move in silence. No alpha on how to get it. Hey guys, I ordered this. You want me to help you get one? You guys
look at this guy talking about moving in silence over here. Look at this guy talking about
teaching us how to move.
Silence.
All right,
Mr. Proprietary.
All right,
Mr. Proprietary over here.
Proprietary, this one.
I mean, I'm ready for my card. When did you get yours in? Like this week?
Yeah, end of last week.
Wow, got to keep an eye out then.
Look, we're founders on the Base network. We get connects,
Yeah.
We get a little DM saying, "Hey, are you on the wait list?" And
I thought mine would have arrived by now is all, but I'm excited. I know that I'm on like the first wave of people, so we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely down to switch over my main credit card.
Not the first wave, Coop. There was a wave before you, but it's okay. You're on the second wave. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Now you have me joining the wait list. Here we go.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was.
But are we not going to talk about the elephant in the room?
That's what I thought we were going for.
Base exploring a network token.
We thought it would never happen.
We thought it would never happen. Honestly, I genuinely thought it would never happen. Not gonna lie.
Well, it's actually not happening. An exploration, keyword exploration of a Base network token. We
ain't exploring and not finding what we're looking for when it comes to a token. All right, Lucas, we've been down this path enough times. They're exploring and they're plotting, and we're here for it.
I mean, I think the big thing that they're trying to figure out is how to not get sued by coin shareholders on this. And I think that's the big loophole for them to figure out. But otherwise, this is a massive opportunity. $10 billion, $30 billion, $50. I mean, largest L2 by far.
I give it probably like middle of 2026 Base token launch. Q1, late Q1, early Q2. That's my timeline. Internally, at least.
So you imagine a net new coin, or do you imagine them tokenizing Coinbase stock?
It's got to be a net new coin. It's got to be a Base coin.
But there's such a cool opportunity.
The ticker is Base.
what I think will happen is that they're going to figure out some way of airdropping or reserving some portion of the supply for Coinbase shareholders. But I don't know. In some capacity, like you're just getting that asset on the Coinbase balance sheet. So in theory, you're kind of getting that through being a Coinbase shareholder. But I think that's the hardest part, is that you have like this public equity with a ton of regulations and like this mandate to always like add shareholder value, and you're launching this net new token to another kind of cohort of people that could be seen as like extractive uh, and not value additive to Coinbase share.
David, what are your thoughts on the base token? You've been a little quiet over there.
My thoughts on the base token are I feel like we saw this coming, but I thought it was going to be Coinbase stock. Doesn't seem like that's what we're getting here. I think if they're smart, they're going to give everybody who's ever used Base a massive airdrop, because I think Coinbase and Base have gotten some heat for not being degen enough and not being early enough to the meme coin meta, not being early enough to several metas, not being a chain where you can make money. I feel like there's a big opportunity for them to kind of win those people back and kind of quiet a lot of the haters. And honest, like, and get people using their chain. I also think if they do it right, it opens the floodgates for just like tons of S&P 500 companies to launch their own tokens. And my guess is Coinbase wants to do this really well to prove that, and then be some type of, I don't know, steward for other companies that are launching tokens, people launching a token on Coinbase first, the tokens being deployed on Base. Like, this kind of becomes a case study for them that they can go to Amex and be like, launch a token on Base. Look what we did.
Amex won't want to own and manage its own chain. Like, there's just no way.
Right.
Amex chain coming soon.
Amex chain.
Amex.
But I think another big part of that rollout and the announcement of the token was the Solana to Base bridge, which I found very compelling. I think that all of us have chatted a lot about the trade-offs between being on Solana versus being on Base. And, you know, obviously it's not one-to-one where like Solana being supported on Base is going to solve all those problems, but I do think it'll help aid in that a little bit. And I think for someone like myself that's exploring, like, how do I capture more of the demand, the trading demand that goes on in Solana, I'm optimistic that this can be a way to do so without fully having to migrate over all of our tech stack to being on Solana Rails. So I don't know, I guess I'm curious, did that news feel exciting to you guys? Did it just feel like another drop in the bucket, or what was kind of your reaction to seeing that bridge announcement?
My reaction is, does Solana need this, or does Base need this more?
Base needs this.
Base needs
100%.
So
this is a vampire attack on Solana.
So why
effectively,
would Solana
it's a
do
one-way
this?
bridge.
Why would
Solana wouldn't? It's a one-way bridge. It's bringing
Oh.
Solana assets to Base Network, right?
Mm.
And it's opening up that opportunity. I could totally see Solana creating like a Base bridge or something, maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
They
how it
probably
plays
will
out.
now.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's interesting because like Base in theory compared to Solana is like a smaller fish. And it's like, should you even care? You know, you're Solana and you're like, yeah, go for it.
If there's a little bit of Base token, things could change.
That's the thing. I think the hard part though is like the largest L2 is probably like a $4 to $5 billion market cap. And it's like, how do you exceed that? Or like, if you think about Solana at $150 billion versus the largest L2 at $5 billion, there's a huge gap there. And I'm actually wondering if this is almost like a path to like Base becoming an L1.
Can't you already bridge ETH on Base to Solana, or swap?
Yeah, you can definitely do it
using
But
Relay.
I think it's more of like the assets can be there, can live in. You can have an SPL token on Base, right?
Say more about your theory that Base becomes an L1. How much do you think that's a possibility? Put a percentage on it.
I think right now it's not on the table, but I think they'll realize like the premium that you get. You know, if you can be a $10 billion asset or $100 billion asset, you're gonna want that L1 premium.
I mean, they're competing with Stripe now directly, and HUD. I mean, HUD might do an L2 with Arbitrum, but
I don't know if the L1 premium exists as much as we think it does, though. Do you really think that there would be much difference of like a bid if it was like a Base L1 versus an L2? I think to me, it's like a lot more just around like the economic activity of that chain and the revenue that chain is producing. And I don't necessarily think that them being an L1 would like increase revenue substantially, which to me wouldn't like marginally increase the perception of the token.
I think my thinking right now is that like it's really hard to accrue value back to the base token with a single sequencer on an L2. Right, like you can't have a decentralized validator set staking base token in order to like secure the network, and you don't have that supply sync. I don't think it's completely on the table. I just think it's an interesting like game theory once the token launches, if they're being valued like an L2 versus an L1. And I do think that L1 premium exists. Like if you just look at the market caps today, look at the top L2s versus the top L1s, even despite activity, L1s are massively more overvalued than an L2.
Something that I've been looking into a lot has been this DeFi Llama sort of revenue dashboard, and just like taking a look at that and seeing like where things are ranking on a daily basis. And I just find it interesting that like Pump as an application, they generated $3 million today, $18 million 7 days, $60 million in 4 days. Axiom is an app, trading app. They generated $50 million in the last 5 days. This collector crypt trading card game, $5 million. It actually takes a minute to get down to Base as a chain is 28th and making $5 million over 30 days in sequencer fees. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot here. But I think that when I look at like Fidgetals is making more money, even Solana as a chain is only making like $5 million a day. It's definitely interesting to hear, because I feel like there's something like interesting happening now where I think that these like applications making a lot of revenue is almost being bid more than like the future perceived value of a chain, if that makes sense. But maybe push back on me. I think Hyperliquid's unique in the sense that it's kind of both. But what do you guys think about that?
A good perspective.
I think it's a bullish perspective for us as application founders, that it's not just all about network and token. It's driving revenue and users. And I don't think we're completely out of like the bid and L1 narrative. We're going to see the abstract chain go live. That's going to be an L2, but we're going to see Monad go live. That's like an L1. And I've seen a bunch of raises that are like for new chains that are going to come out in 2026. So I think there's always going to be a path to like $1 billion valuation as like a chain. But if we really zoom out, the question that I've been wondering is like, what actually catches escape velocity is like a $100 billion coin or like $1 trillion coin or something like that, And I think if you look at like the equivalent of a Facebook as like an application, like Facebook is probably closer to like a Pump than it is to like a base chain. So I don't know, maybe it's extrapolating a little bit too much, but I think that I've just been excited about the way that projects making real revenue and having real users are getting a bit in the market. And we're not relying as much on these network valuations, which I don't think are necessarily reflective in either the revenue being generated or the amount of users these chains have.
Can you drop a link to that dashboard?
Of course. DeFiLlama.com/revenue.
Revenue, okay.
Throw it in the chat here though. But yeah, I've been watching that pretty much like every day. I think it's just like a very valuable, it's just a very accurate way of looking of like where economic activity is having on chain. I saw like football.fun did like $20 million in revenue over the course of the last like couple months. Obviously all of these trading card platforms are doing super well, but I don't know, I like it. You get to see like where Phantom's ranking across all these things. And I think it just gives a really healthy perspective of like where money is actually being made on chain. And I think that that's a much clearer indication of like what people are actually using over like a token that might just be up 30% because it has like a good narrative going for it or something, Yeah.
I mean, the revenue stuff is literally just like the economics of like an application versus protocol. Like if you move $1 million on Solana, it costs less than a penny. If you buy $1 million of NFTs on OpenSea or PumpFun, like there's a 1% or 5% transaction fee. So it just makes sense naturally that like these applications have the ability to monetize better because they're taking percentage and not just like a flat fee for transacting on the network.
Why isn't OpenSea on here or Layer 3, or are these just like curated insights, like curated dashboards?
I think they're on there. You probably just got to scroll down.
No, what do you mean? You're looking. I mean, open.
I mean, you can control F, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying, bro, but it's not popping up, bro. Also, Layer 3 is not on here. Layer 3 is a juggernaut.
Also, Hyperliquid's not on here.
What do you mean? Hyperliquid's number 2.
They are
number 3.
But yeah, I was
So
just gonna say though, it's not without. I mean, it has here. Yeah, it's not on that dashboard. It looks like OpenSea revenue annualized 5.3 mil. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting for sure. They're
I mean,
definitely getting a lot
it's
more
probably
usage since that new coin announcement went live.
and
yeah.
Zora, how about Zora? Where's Zora on here?
Well, I was just going to comment that for applications, it's not without a ceiling, because I don't know if you guys saw this, but Zora recently lowered their fees back down to 1% because they were getting a lot of complaints from traders that the fees were too high and people were just choosing not to trade on the platform. And so
Yeah.
I kind of was of the belief that maybe I'm starting to reconsider that if you're an application that has distribution, you can just charge whatever the fuck you want. Like OpenSea back in the day was doing 10% secondary fee and no one complained because there was just a ton of volume. And, I think we saw early signs of this with Believe, which was doing like a 2% swap fee. But now when I talk to teams that are doing launch pads, it's like you can't really go above that 1% because people start to complain, or they just start making their own pools. So I think that there is some like normalization that's happening around swap fees on the app layer that I think is probably healthy, for lack of a better term. But I don't know. It's just it's a really cool time in the market to be able to like zoom into like the economics behind these crypto applications, because I think it's been forever since we've actually seen apps be able to make this like real money from people using them in some way, shape, or form.
Last year, a year and a half ago, revenue was not a topic of conversation as a way to value or a way to perceive value of a said project, protocol layer, whatever. So it's great. It's great. Finally, people care about revenue, but I still don't think it dictates your raise valuation and how much money you could raise. Frankly, Sonium is on here. Your buddies at Sonium, Coop. I mean, what is going on there?
Well, they just launched Sonium Score, which is basically a way for you to increase your XP on the network. They're basically doing like verified collections now. And if you're holding those collections or trading those collections, you're getting like increased XP for their eventual future airdrop. So I don't know. I mean, I think people are just realizing like what the name of the game is. I know that a lot of people are like really taking the abstract XP super seriously these days, really grinding over there to get that up. And then obviously OpenSea with this new like XP announcement that they put out, they just put so much more love into their whole like chest experience. So
Yeah.
I think people are just like, I don't know if you guys have been hearing this meme of like the great lock-in, like the fall lock-in, October lock-in and stuff. I think this is like what it is practically, is like grinding these on-chain applications, protocols, etc., to like set yourself up for hopefully a very good season of airdrops and return on this volume that you're doing on chain today.
People are just trying to get paid. People are trying to earn. Earning is the name of the game. That's the TLDR. Anything else to cover on the Pump Zora fee discussion? Because we got some more stuff to get through.
Let's get through a couple more things. I know Lucas has got a hard stop coming up here, so I want to be sensitive that we just put a lot of time in there.
There's one that I want to talk about, sadly. It's a sad day, sad week, new chapter for Mirror. Mirror sunsets, post merge with Paragraph. Mirror is no longer going to be a thing. Very sad. A lot of great memories that kickstarted a lot of our experimentation started on Mirror, from Daniel Allen, crowdfunds, the right race, writing NFTs, the initial mint to subscribe call to action, a lot of really fun innovation that kind of set the tone for how we think about growing audiences and collecting content. Started on Mirror. This was a bittersweet one. How do you guys feel about it?
This is not new news to me, I will say.
Sure.
I think that the acquisition and the merger happened like 6 months ago. And since then, Mirror has basically been a ghost town. So I agree that it is sad. I loved Mirror. I had so many positive experiences and I published on there a ton and was, maybe one of the first 5 or 10 writers on there. But I think that the energy around written content moved over to Paragraph a long time ago. And so I don't feel too like bittersweet about it. I think it's just kind of cementing what's already been known.
Also, trading content trading paragraphs or trading newsletters as a coin doesn't feel like the right content token fit, in my opinion. But Lucas, what were you going to say?
I was going to say a lot of respect for Mirror over the years, and I think they pioneered a lot of stuff that inspired us. And then I think, to be frank, like Paragraph is actually just a better product at this point,
Sure.
like in terms of using it, in
100%.
terms of like what you get as a writer and a publisher on the platform. So yeah, definitely bittersweet, but at least it's not like completely gone. You have a really good alternative out there. Paragraph and that team crushes. So
Totally. I'm a user of Paragraph, but Blueprint has its newsletter on Paragraph. our newsletter is growing. I like Paragraph, but still, memories. It's nostalgic. That's all.
I really like your framing of content token fit, Adam. I think that it's a really succinct way of saying that like different formats of content will probably have different tokens to match them. And I think we're still in the early days of that, but I just think as a broad category, it's a really interesting way of thinking about the evolution of all this stuff.
Totally. What else do we want to talk about? Coop, how about you throw in you launched something recently. You introduced something new to the world, didn't you?
Yeah, we covered it last week, though. I don't feel like we need to double down on it too much. But KoopRex 2.0 out in the world at this point, we're seeing some good new demand and activity. I've been really happy about it. I've gotten a ton of like really good inbound from it. People who have never used the platform before are coming using it for the first time. We're seeing really small signals that I think are positive, where people are buying, 100 editions, 250 editions of a song during the pre-sale. And people who would normally just go and mint one edition to get the reward are now minting 3 or 5 here and there. And I'm not going to say it's like a crazy influx of new demand, but it's definitely new demand. And I think that people understand the product in a way that they haven't before. I think that a good signal for me is when I went to a festival on Sunday, someone flagged me down. They said, wow, I saw that new reel you posted about the platform. It looks amazing. Like, I'm really excited for you. And I just kind of realized that outside of the crypto echo chamber, no one has any clue what's going on in like the real world. And so to them, they basically thought that this was like day one of me launching this platform. And I'm like, no, I've been doing this for like 3 years, but they don't know and they don't care. So I think it was just a good motivator to like get a little bit more out there and start to speak about this stuff a little bit more publicly.
You also had a TikTok that went pretty viral. 10,000 likes, 11,000 likes. That was a cool
10,000 likes, baby. Come on.
There you go. Slowly
yeah,
but
I actually
surely.
think I crossed, knock on wood, but I think I'm in the TikTok pocket now. Like, I'm starting to get like 10, 20, 30 new followers a day. It's only like 1,300, so it's small, but like before I'd get like 1 or 2 new followers every couple of days, and now I'm starting to get like 5, 10 a day. And so I think I'm starting to reach that point of like a tiny bit of escape velocity. And what I realized is that when it comes to posting short form, I said this earlier, the frequency of posting matters so much more, because what drives growth is not necessarily like your new video going viral. It's people being able to come back to your last 100, 200 videos and just like stumble into that in a very consistent way. So it's just been fun for me, man. I mean, I think that I still have a lot to figure out, but I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of like posting on TikTok and starting to do these video edits and setting up this setup and whatnot. So I don't know. I'm definitely committed to it now in a way that I've always said I want it to be. And I feel like it's definitely putting me in a really good headspace just in a lot of different ways. And maybe to round that out, it's like now I'm just able to talk to artists a lot more directly about like their content strategy and how they're thinking about posting short form and helping them with edits and stuff like that. And it just feels cool to be able to meet artists where they are in terms of like their biggest struggle, which is just like, how the fuck do I post 3 to 5 things on Instagram a week and just figure out what that looks like. So David, I don't know if you have any thoughts here. I mean, I know that you got a literal whole workshop going on outputting a bunch of content. So what are your thoughts here?
More you post, better it is. I think like the biggest thing for us has been learning not just like what to post, but making sure like if the first half second or 2 seconds of what we do isn't good, it doesn't matter how good the rest of the video is. And I think like we have like 6 accounts we're running for these different virtual artists, and learning like kind of what you just said, like you're in your pocket on TikTok, but every account's in a different pocket, and different things are going to work on other accounts that aren't working on different ones. So post more, make sure the first half second's good, keep rolling, which I think is different than posting on Zora. Like I think that's the thing that is going to be really interesting, is like crypto does have an opportunity to restructure what kinds of things people post and what a good post is and what an engaging post is, versus these platforms where it's just been very much about like finding your wave in the algorithm and then making sure the first quarter second, half second's really engaging, and then just like playing that game as much as you can.
When you explained your problems at Coop, you talked about how music artists have a hard time posting 3 pieces of content a day. Is that the problem set you talked about?
I mean, that's how much you should be posting, but I don't think many people can get there. And so they're just trying to get like 3 posts out a week. Some of them struggle to get even 1 post out a week.
And that's because the music artists, they just have like, why do they struggle with that?
There is a fatigue in originality and ideas. there is a disdain towards the content creation process. And there is a frustration around needing to prioritize video creation over music making. And so I think most people hate doing it, and the time that they are putting into it, they'd rather be putting into making music. And posting 3 times a day is really fucking hard. From like the concept of it to the actual creation of it to the consistency of it tying into something wider and what it leads to and whatnot. And so, I mean, I'll just speak for Daniel real quick here, but like his current strategy is that he's posting 3 times a day on TikTok, taking the best TikTok and posting that one video on Instagram as a reel. And I don't know how much you guys have like tapped into the whole like Instagram trial reel thing that's going on right now, but there's kind of this whole new pocket of you can publish a reel as a trial reel and it doesn't show to your followers. It's just in the void, basically, just being shown to like real people. And then if it gets enough traction, you can basically like upgrade it or graduate it to like an actual post on your page. And so there's like this whole Instagram algorithm thing that like I'm starting to get tapped into now. And look, I'm not going to say I have it figured out at all. I haven't grown my following on Instagram or TikTok in forever, but I feel like I'm starting to like, it's kind of calling to me a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense, but like the fucking algo is speaking to me a bit, and I'm listening, and I like it. I like where it's taking me.
It's cool. It's a different problem set than what I'm seeing from other creators. Like each content format and its respective creators have a different problem that needs to be solved, regardless if they're all trying to get distribution. But the way in which they try to get distribution or how they monetize that distribution is so different. Like the creators that I'm talking to as part of onboarding for cohort 3, we've done outreach to hundreds of creators in the last month, even before opening up like proper applications to build up hype around what we're doing. And like there's a couple parts to actually having a conversation with these traditional creators, particularly going after the middle class of creators if they have between 10,000 to 1 million followers, and getting on there and actually understanding what problems they have. Is that they actually don't have a problem with writer's block. Like it's very easy for them to publish, but they create short clips, so they actually don't tap into the minute-long requirement to get into as part of the TikTok fund. And if they even get in there, they don't get much from the pool of funds that they potentially could get, if they had a more viral video. So they have endless content and a backlog of content that they need monetized, but the problem set is much different. So just hearing how you're talking about it is like, wait, so it's like maybe a one size fits all doesn't work. It still doesn't work. And it's cool to see us solving a variety of different problems, but I know we have to wrap up. That was just like my insight.
Well, I have one more question for you before we wrap.
Yeah.
How are you thinking about the breakdown of creators in this new cohort? Like, are you interviewing some streamers? Are you interviewing some artists? Is it like a mix of a lot of different creators, or?
It's we've been pushing for video creators, short form and long form video. We don't want to support live streaming right now, frankly. Like we can't support the live streaming format, but if you have clips from your live stream, then that's great, but the actual live stream itself, that's not what we're doing. No.
Might be able to help you get some clips.
Look at that.
What's going on in the clips side of the world over there?
Give us a 2-minute recap.
Clips are going well. We shifted over to a whitelist only. I think we talked about that last episode. And yeah, pretty much just getting to a point where payouts are automatic. I think that's the biggest thing now, is like there's a 5, 6, 7 day lag, between your submission and then getting paid out for that clip. And that's largely because creators are, have to go and review it. So getting to a state where it's automatic, because of the whitelist, we can now be pretty optimistic that it's a legit clip. And happening every 24 hours, that'll increase retention and like activity on clips coming in. And yeah, just scaling that product right now, I think is the main focus.
I say we get some clips going for this new Cooper X V2 launch video that I put out. What do you think about that?
All right, let's do it.
All right. Why don't you take us on, Lucas?
Take us on.
Well, it's been a fantastic episode, from PumpFun streamers to the base token to Amex. What an episode. Thank you to all 14.5 million listeners of Not a Cartel. You can find this episode on chain and online at pods.media/notacartel. And you'll probably come across some clips on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and everywhere else.
Nice. Let's go.
GG.
Let's go.
Episode 33 in the books.